Okay, this is Unit 1, Lesson 2, page 3, Solving Linear Equations, Practice. So number 5 at the top here, we have constant term and a constant term, and it's on the same side, so we want to combine like terms. So this is a positive 2p plus a positive 2p is a positive 4p, and just bring the constants along. Now I have a constant on this side and a constant on that side, so it's on the other side of the equal sign, so I want to move it over here. Remember, wherever our variables are, we want to start isolating the term with the variable that we want. So in this case, we're moving the 42 over here, so we want to add its opposite or subtract 42. That'll get a 0. And then this is 6 minus 42 is negative 36. And I want to isolate the p by dividing by same on then both sides. So this is p equals negative 9. It's okay that it's that way. You know what it is. Okay. So the short notes on these combined like term, you want to don't change signs, right? It's not a move. Moves, you add opposite. Okay, isolate, you multiply or divide by same. Those are the shorthand notes for what we're trying to do. If you want more information, go back to the page before. Okay. So over here, we have a variable term, a constant term, variable term, constant term. We cannot add these terms together. They're not like terms. So we need to start moving things to one side and the other. So I typically prefer to move my variable to the right side. So to move this positive 5, we want to add a negative 5w. That gets rid of on that side. And if we're moving the variables this way, we want to move the constants that way. Okay, so to move this negative 30, we want to add 30. So positive 5 minus 5, or add a negative 5 to it, you have a 4w left on this side, and you have 30 minus 6, it's 24 on this side. So that was a big move. Okay. And now we want to isolate by dividing by what's in front. What's keeping our w from being isolated? 24 divided by 4 is 6. And we can always put that back in and check that it's a 6. Okay. Here's a formula. And I think it doesn't really matter what it is, but I think that's a fine. So the fine they get for the speed they're going, possibly something like that, but it doesn't really matter. We're following the directions. It says f is this, so first thing we're going to do is substitute that in. That leaves us with one variable. You can only solve an equation for one variable. Okay, so you have to put that in, and now we see that it's a distribution. So this is a 1 in front of this, so we're not touching this, and this is 9 times 1 is 9r. And 9 times 35 is 315. That's a negative, plus 75. And still the only thing on that side, so we're not touching that. Right here are two constant terms, though, so not touching that. This is the larger, so this will be negative. So 315 minus 75 is 240. And then we need to get this term by itself, so we're going to add the opposite, move this over here. So this was a distribute, this is a combined like term, and this is a move. So this adds 240 over here. And I do realize that people have learned to do this without a DCMI program to follow, but and you can do it other ways. I don't have a problem with that as long as we come up with the same number and you show your steps. Okay, everybody has to do some sort of step. So do it however you want it, as long as it comes out the same way and you showed steps that I can follow, okay? 612 divided by 9 is 68. Okay. This one has a distribution. This times 8, so that means we're not doing anything over here because there isn't a distribution. This is a negative 16. It's a positive 6. All right, now we're ready to combine like terms on the same side, so that means we're still not doing this. These are not like terms. You cannot combine these, okay? Negative 16 plus 3, negative 13 plus 6. Now I'm ready to move. So this was a distribute, this was a combine like terms. Now I'm ready to move. So I want to move this over here. Some people are picky about their signs when they're moving things. I do not look at that. I know I want that variable term over here, okay? So that means the number, the constant term, has to go over here by adding its opposite. A 8 minus 13. I'm looking at my notes to see if I messed up anything yet. Nope, we're still looking good. Okay, so 5n equals, what's this going to be? 25, right? Isolate by dividing by same. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Okay, you don't have to write DCMI. I'm just doing that for demonstration purposes. All right, distribute. Negative times negative is a positive. Negative times a positive is a negative. All right, combine like terms. Move, let's see, got to move this one. Otherwise, if I move this one over here, I'll have nothing on that side. So we got to do that. And this is going to be a negative 24. And then divide by negative 24. So x equals a big old fraction. Negative over negative is a positive. Oops. But they both can be divisible by 3. So 3 over 8. Sorry, I'm not the neatest person. This one doesn't have any distribution, but it's got some like terms. So that's a 1 there. So this is 7y minus 3. And that's a constant, and that's a constant. So 4 minus 5 is a negative 1 plus 2y. Okay. Now I want to move the constant this way. And I want to move the y this way. So this is going to give me, you can do it one at a time, but I'm a little tight on space and I'm not all that neat. So to check my notes, yep, that's what it says. Okay, divide. So your final answer is a fraction and it's already reduced. Hope you're getting the hang of this. Remember, you can rewind and slow it, or at least stop it while you're working on it. By the time you get here, you want to try a few on your own, or at least one on your own, and then so stop the video, try this one, and see if you get the same thing. Okay. Let's see, no distribution, but 2 variable terms. So that's a negative plus another negative is a bigger negative. Okay, and then looks like that's the only variable term, so it's going to stay there, and I'm going to move the 27 over to the other constant. 29 minus, did I do that right? 27 plus 56, no, wait, plus, okay, there we go. That was a negative, so I'm adding 27 to both sides. So that's going to give us a 56. Divide by whatever's in front of the variable. Positive divided by negative is a negative. Use your calculator if you need to. So -7. Let's see, a distribution. So not touching this. 6 times 1 is 6 times -4. Okay, and then combine like terms. And then we're ready to move. Use the opposite, don't forget. So it makes a 0. That's a 60. And then divide by what's in front of our variable. That reduces by 10, by the way, because it ends in a 0. Divisibility rule for 10 is if it ends in a 0, it's divisible by 10. Distribution, -8 times a 1 is -8u. Negative times a positive, -32. Oops. All right, let's see, move the u this way. Like I said, you can do things differently as long as we end up with the same and you show your moves. But if you're just learning, this is a way to try it, okay? Variables go to the left, numbers go, or constants go to the right. Should be crossing out one thing on each side if there's a double. All right, so this is -2, and this is 32 minus 18 is 14, and it'll be positive because the 32 is positive. Divided by -2, u equals -7. Got to do the distribution before I do anything else. There's a 1 in front of there. -4 times 1 is -4. Negative times negative is a positive. Oh, and that's a typo that I will fix. Solve for v, and then I put an x here. Let's pretend this is a v. And I will fix that. Make a note. Okay. And then positive, positive, negative, 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 positive. There we go. Hope that was helpful.